Family History Project interview with Christine Spates Green Burgess for GPS SV 388, University of Arizona, Curtis Walker. So I'm speaking with my aunt, Christine, who is going to be like the family historian. And so we're going to be finding out about I guess we call ourselves the Spates family. Auntie, will we call ourselves the Spates family?
Yes.
The Spates family. All right. So Auntie, I'm gonna let you take it away. I will start with you and the immediate family, like the sisters and brothers, and the names, like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, my brother Willie was the oldest. Willie Joe Spates. Then Anna Marie. Then me, Christine. Bobby. Then Ruth Ann. And Hattie. And Joanne.
Wow.
Polly Ann. And Debbie. All my father and mother had 8 children. 8 girls. I gave 10 children. 8 girls and 2 boys.
One, two, 8 girls and 2 boys.
8 girls and 2 boys.
I didn't know that. Cause I missed the name. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who am I missing? My mom, right? Janice.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the youngest, right?
No, Janice is the. Let's see. Ann is the oldest. Ann and Willie was the oldest.
Okay.
Then Ann. Then me. Then Bobby. Then Janice. Then Ruth Ann. Then Hattie. Then Joanne. Debbie.
And then Polly's the youngest.
And no, Polly is after Joanne, then Polly.
Then Debbie.
And Debbie.
Okay.
Debbie was the youngest.
All right. Youngest. All right. And your mom is Anna, right? My grandmother.
Right.
Anna Davis?
Anna Davis.
Okay.
Spates.
Anna Davis Spates. And grandfather? Is that Jimmy Lee Spates?
No, Jimmy was my father.
Oh.
My mama daddy name was John Davis.
John Davis. Okay. And so grandmother had 2 husbands?
Huh?
Grandmother was married to 2 people?
Your grandmother was Davis before she married. My father was a Spates.
Oh, so she married. What was John Davis first? And then
John Davis was your great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
That was my mother's dad.
Oh, wait. Okay, so your mother is Anna Davis.
Anna Davis Spates, right.
Okay, and her mother is well, wait, I'm confused now. All right, so it's Anna Davis.
And Jackie was Anna Marie was named after her. Real name is Anna Marie, but we call her Jackie.
Right.
Or either Ann, but her real name is Anna Marie.
Okay, so the grandmom's name is Anna Davis Spates, your mother.
Right.
And her husband was John Davis.
Her dad.
Her dad.
John Davis.
Oh, okay. So he's our great-grandfather, John Davis. Okay, got it.
Uh-huh.
And who is she married to, though?
Your great-grandmother name was Anna.
Great-grandmother's name is Anna? Does she have a last name?
She was named, my mama name was Anna.
Uh-huh.
And then she was named after her mom.
And it was a Davis as well? Or Spates as well?
Davis. My great-grandmother's name was Davis. Anna Davis.
Okay. All right. So the great-grandmother. Great-grandmother. All right. But who was my grandfather? Your father.
My daddy's name was Jimmy Spates.
Jimmy Spates. Okay.
That's your grandfather.
All right, that's the one that I got the picture of. Jimmy Spates. Okay, grandfather.
That's your dad. That's your mom's dad.
All right.
My mom, and my dad.
Okay. All right. Do you know where he came from? Where he came from?
My dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was from Sumter, South Carolina.
Sumter, South Carolina. And grandma, your mom?
My mom was from Kingstree, South Carolina.
Kingstree,
Uh-huh.
South Carolina. Now, what do you? Oh well, yeah, Carolina. All right. So these great grandfathers. So all right. So the way I have it is, your mom is Anna Davis Spates, who was married to Jimmy Spates, and our great grandmother's name was Anna Davis, and she was married to John Davis.
Right.
Okay. And so I assume that our great grandmother and great father everybody lived in South Carolina.
Right.
Okay. So Carolina. So that's right around when slavery ends. Then. Now, was anybody that you know, was they or anybody descendants of slaves? Like, do you know our great grandfather? Can you go back even further?
No, I don't know nobody else. I know my grandfather's brothers. They lived it in South Carolina. He had two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather had two brothers.
Uh-huh.
And one was named John Davis, and the other one was named. Let me see what his name was. It's so long ago, baby.
But this is all South Carolina, though.
You're going to have to call your Aunt and see what the other brother was named.
But they all lived in South
One was
Carolina.
named John, but I don't know what the other one was named.
Okay. Anonymous. I can do that. So, all right. And everybody lived in South Carolina. So do you know what our background, like, are we African American, Trinidadian? I've heard Trinidadian before. I've heard Jamaican.
My father was kin to the Blackfoot Indians.
Jimmy Spates.
But my great grandfather was American. All I can say that Negro American, African American, however you would say it.
Okay, so John Davis, our great grandfather, was Negro, but Jimmy Spates was Blackfoot Indian.
Right.
Ooh, we could got some money on a reservation. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my dad was kin to the Indians.
Okay, and what about your mom and great grandma?
My great grandmom and my mom was American, African American.
Okay, Negroes. Okay, so all right, so that means we're 50. Right there is 50-50. So black and Indian. Okay, that explains why the hair turns red in the summertime. That explains that part then.
Yeah, your skin does turn red.
Yeah, no, I know for sure. That's why, that explains why it does that. Okay, so we're 50. So we're Negro and Blackfoot Indians and Blackfoot Indians. Oh, I gotta have to put that in a report. And other than that, we don't know. They just assume that everybody else was descendants of somebody in South Carolina.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Now, what you don't know anything about my side, like Walkers, right? You don't know any of that, right?
No, I don't know anything about.
Okay. So, do you know when your father died?
My father died in February. I think February the 14th, Valentine's Day, 14th, 1966.
Oh, he died before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. No wonder. I have no memory of
He
him.
died before Chris was born, and Chris is 57. I'm 76. Chris 56 years old.
Oh, that's why I have no memory. All right. And what about grandma? Do you know when your mom died?
My mom died in June 1972.
Okay. June 1970. And did they both die in South Carolina?
No, my mom, real good. My mom got killed. You know that, right?
That's what I heard, but I didn't know if that was true.
That is true.
Okay.
So, and we lived in West Palm Beach, Florida,
That's
when my mom got killed.
that's where I was born. Okay.
Yep, and you stayed with me until you were what, 5 years old?
Yeah, something like that. Those are like the only memories I have, like before 9. I don't know. I don't remember anything else. Okay. So she was killed in West Palm Beach in June 1972, and he died in 1966 in South Carolina.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Do you know where when our great grandfather and great grandmother died?
Great grandmother died. I must was like maybe 6 years old, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to stay with my grandfather and with my grandfather and my grandmother.
Okay. So that would be you were 6 at 67. So that was like 19.
You know what?
Hmm?
And come to think of it, Curtis, can you go back and redo my great grandmother's name? Because her name, Hattie Mae, is named after my grandmother. And my grandmother's name, I can tell you, it was a long time.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother's name was Hattie.
Hattie.
Hattie Mae Davis.
Hattie Mae Davis.
Hattie Mae Davis instead of Anna Davis. Her name was Hattie Davis.
Hattie Mae Davis was married to John Davis.
Davis, yeah.
And then
that was my grandmother's name, Hattie.
And then they gave birth. Now, did grandma have any brothers? Like we have uncles, right?
Yeah.
Like
you talking about my mama?
Yeah. Uh huh. Who?
Yeah. My mama had. Let's see. It was Uncle Israel.
Okay. That's interesting.
Uncle Charlie. Uncle Leroy.
Uh huh.
And then Uncle John.
Yep. From West Palm Beach. Okay.
And then it was Uncle Leroy. Let's see, Uncle Leroy. And then you got a great uncle living, and his name is Uncle Sammy Lee Davis, and he lives in South Carolina.
What about sisters?
My grandma, my mom. Oh, you got me saying grandmother. My mama's sister was named Anna Faye. One was named Anna Faye, and the other one was named Martha.
It's all Jewish names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think back then some of the people that they lived like on their farms and stuff,
Yeah.
they would help name the children.
Oh. Okay.
Because my name is Christine Melanie.
Christine Melanie.
And Ann's name is Anna Maria Alspaghetti.
What's it called? Alphagetti?
Alspaghetti.
That's Italian.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Anna Maria Alphagetti. And mom's name is Janice Carolyn, so I guess.
Yep, Janie Carroll.
That's
And
interesting.
your Uncle Bud. We call him Uncle Uncle Sammy, we call him Uncle Nug, but his name is Sammy Davis.
Like Sammy Davis Jr.
Uh-huh. Sammy Davis. Sammy Davis. And he lives in he's still living. He lives in South Carolina now. He's 20 years older than me. So I'm 76. So that make him 96, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been living a long time.
He probably knows everything.
Yeah, Uncle Nub knows every, and he is sharp. His memory ain't nothing wrong with his memory.
Wow. That'd be interesting to talk to him. Sharp. Okay. Wow. So we're Negro and now wait. So not your mom, but your grandma. Did they live on plantations or anything?
No, not that I know of.
So they were free.
Uh-huh. My grandfather owned his own property. He farmed his own land. He had a big. That's why I can't understand what happened to Grandpa's land, all his farm land and stuff.
Interesting. Do you know the name of that property?
It was in Coward. Is it Coward? Right out, yeah, between Coward and Scranton.
Coward and Scranton, South Carolina?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And he owned it himself?
Yeah, he owned it.
Wonder what happened to
I
that.
gotta ask Uncle Nug, what happened to Grandfather's property? What? Because he had property. He didn't live on nobody's land. I don't think he did.
And
I always know Grandfather to do his own. He had lots of tobacco and corn and all kinds of stuff. But I don't remember. He had horses and cows and chickens and all kinds of stuff like that. Had a bunch of oink pigs.
Wow.
I don't know, because we used to have barbecue suppers. He would kill hogs and barbecue it and sell the meat and stuff. I don't know. But I always remember my grandfather having his own land.
Right. Huh. That's interesting. I'm trying to look that up. And I guess the land, it was called his, and he didn't, it wasn't called any type of farm, it was just his own land, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and grandma lived there with him.
Yeah, until she passed away. My mama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom lived there until her and my dad got married. I think my mama was 21 years old when her and my dad got married.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they had 10 children together.
Together. Okay. All right. So, that's gonna be easy to find though. It's because you said is Coward and Scranton, are they cities or counties?
Coward is, and all of it's considered Florence County.
What's it called?
Florence County.
Florence County?
Uh-huh.
Florence County. And this was in like the 1930s, 1940s.
Right.
Okay.
Because I was born in 46.
Okay. So, all right. So I can use that as a date. And you're the oldest? So you're the oldest of everybody, right?
No.
Who's the oldest? Bobby?
No. The oldest one living now is Ann. Yeah, Ann.
Oh, okay.
I'm next to Ann.
Okay. And Willie is the oldest brother.
Yeah, Willie Joe was the oldest brother. Bobby next to me. He was born in 1948. I was born in 1946.
Everybody was born real close. My mom was born in 1950, right?
Yeah, well, I guess we was like 2 years apart. Every one of us was like 2 years apart.
And Aunt Jackie was born in 1944.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Willie was born in 43,
43.
January 30th, 1943. Him and my husband was long together. Both of them was born in 43.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is gonna be. I'll be able to find that. So all I have to do is look up the death record for Jimmy Lee Spates, and he died in 1966 in South Carolina. You know how old he was?
Hmm?
You know how old your dad was? When,
No, I did have an obituary for my father, but I don't think I have it no more.
okay.
Your Aunt Polly Ann in Florida got the Bible with everybody's date of birth in it that I could keep up with.
Right.
And she took it to Florida and never did return it.
Okay. Well, I got his death. I can look at the vital statistics and get the birth date. And aunt and grandma was 21 years old when she had got married, and they had 10 children.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hattie Mae Davis is our great grandmother, who was married to John Davis. And so, did the farm? The farm was John Davis or Jimmy Lee Spates? Who owned that farm?
Pete Davis. That's what they would call my grandfather. They always called him Pete. Pete.
Pete.
But his real name was John Davis. But everybody called him Pete Davis.
Oh.
White and black. Everybody called him Uncle Pete. And that's what they would call him. But his name was John Davis.
Okay. Uncle Pete. All right. That's going to be, and that's in Coward and Scranton, South Carolina, in Florence County.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he was pretty famous.
Yeah, everybody knows Grandpa.
Okay.
Everybody knows Grandpa. And they say, yeah, we going over the path. They call him Pad 2. Going over the Pad house tonight for the barbecue supper. Because he would kill hogs and sell barbecue on the weekends. He had like back then they call them liquor houses. That's what he had. My grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So, and he was real famous with his alcohol. Oh, he was really, really famous. I'm serious.
Oh, okay. And he was the man. He was the man. I'm looking for his name right now. I'm gonna find it.
You found it?
I'm gonna find it. Florence. I know it's Florence County. Florence County, South Carolina. And when did he die again? He died 19. No, he died before. So he had to die way before that. So he had to die like in the 1940s. Maybe.
I was about 6 years old when my grandfather died, because I remember when he died.
So you were 6 years old?
I had to be about 6 or 7, something like that, because I remember when Grandpa died. So he had that I was born in 46.
So he had to
and
die
if
like...
I was 6 years old, he would have had to die in 51 or 52.
Okay. And his name is...
1951. I think Janice born in 1950.
Yes. Yep.
So Grandpa was living when Janice was born, because Janice remember Grandpa. So she probably was about 4 years old. But he died in the 50s, but I don't know what date in the 50s. I don't know what year in the 50s.
1952.
But I was old enough to remember my grandpa because I stayed with them. I stayed with Grandpa until I was 13 years old. So I was 13 years old when Grandpa died.
He died young, or he was old?
No, he was old. Grandpa was old. I would say Grandpa was in his 70s or 80s when he died.
Okay. And he died in 1952. Because I found one, but he was too young. It was John something. Okay, South Carolina government website. Uh, and you said Aunt Polly's got the death certificate, birth certificates, and stuff like that.
She got the Bible with my father, with my dad uh, died, but we don't have Grandpa here when he died in there. We
Okay.
just got my mom and my dad. And I could remember when Amy Tina died and Uncle Charlie and Uncle Leroy. Most the aunt could remember when they died and stuff. But Uncle Charlie lived with us in West Palm Beach, Florida, and he died in 1984. He had lung cancer.
Do you know do they have like a grave or burial place or anything like that?
The gravesite for all of the Spates and I guess whoever the burial site is called the Lee Cemetery in Scranton, South Carolina.
The cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
Scranton, South Carolina.
And it's a little bit bigger than your mama backyard, and I can't see how they put all the just buried people on top of one another.
Oh wow.
Because my mom is back there and my dad in that place. But I don't know what Grandpa and them burial ground was because they had their own. The Davis had their own burial graveyard,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know where it is. I don't have no idea where it is.
Well, I found the Lee Cemetery. I know where it's at.
It's in Scranton.
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
If you see that little old place they buried everybody at. I
Yeah.
told them when I die, don't take me back to South Carolina because my home is Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't look like much of a gravesite.
It all growed up like, I don't know what. I don't know if they cleaned it off now or not. But my husband is buried in Lake City Cemetery. That's where he is, in Lake City.
It's a historical thing now.
In the State Cemetery back there. He's in the same one that the astronaut is in.
Oh, okay.
That's where my husband's buried.
Oh, this must be a famous place. This Lee Cemetery.
You kidding me?
It's got a historical
Are you
marker.
kidding?
If I'm looking at the right thing.
Are you kidding me?
Nah, I'm looking at it.
I would bury my dog back there in that little nasty looking place.
It's,
I'm serious. It's ridiculous that they just throw black people in a box and throw them back there in that nasty place.
I'm gonna see if I can find his name. He didn't have a middle name, so his name is, what's his name? His name is John Davis.
Mm-hmm.
No middle name, right?
I don't know.
Your
I
dad?
don't know if Uncle John. I don't know if Grandpa had a middle name or not. I really don't know. All I ever heard people call him is John or either Uncle Pete or Pat. That's all I went. Because Mama and them didn't call him Daddy. They called him Pat.
All right. Well, I'm gonna guess that his father's name was John Davis because there's another John Davis that's buried in that cemetery in Scranton, and he died at 63. He died. Oh no, he must be somebody else. No, that can't be him. That can't be him. Huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a John Davis buried there, and he was his like what John no last name is. Ooh, and they were kin to. He was that is right. John is a Davis, but he lived in Hollandale, Florida, all his life. And when he passed away, they did bring him back to South Carolina. But I couldn't remember that. I didn't go to the grave site with them.
Right.
So I really don't know where they buried him. They might have put him in the Lee Cemetery. Because Grandpa had all the Spates, the Spates and the Davis back there. But the Graham Cemetery is way out there, and I forgot where the name of the place is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's another, the Graham have their own burial cemetery too.
Well, this that must be. I guess that's where they just buried a lot of people.
Lord, yeah, I told you.
Yeah, because
Please don't take me to don't take me there.
And I guess they did the same thing at the Graham Cemetery, which is like a mile away. They just like you're never gonna know who's buried there because they just bury people on top of people.
Yeah, they just buried them on top of everybody. Everybody on top of everybody. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know they had too little of that, but come on now. You see how little that place.
Yeah, and well now it's just beat down and deserted, but yeah, I can't imagine.
Don't nobody clean it off. My Uncle Nub used to go back there and clean it off, but he done got too old to do that now. So they just gone to the dogs for real.
Yeah.
Bobby has 2 children buried back there.
Oh, it's not much of anything.
No, it ain't. Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's just
but don't nobody hardly. I don't think too many people bury their family members back there now.
I wouldn't.
Ain't no place to dig no graveside back there. They got there. It should be against the law for them to bury people back there on top of one another. You know that's what they do when they go back there and dig a grave.
Well, now it's just an open space, and you see a few headstones and trees, and it's a broken down fence, and it's not much there. It's an African American cemetery west of Scranton at Baldwin Street. It makes an elbow, turn left. The road curves back and right. It's not much there. Neither one of them. They're both like just deserted land. It's not. It's wide open now. It's just, yeah, it's not much.
It wasn't nothing much then. I couldn't see how they buried people. And I begged please don't put my daddy back there. Don't they have a place in Lake City?
Yeah,
my mom said, yeah, but it costs too much to get the grave dig and everything, and it'll cost too much money, and we don't have no life insurance, and blah, 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 and God.
Yeah, it's just deserted. It looks like it's big like my mom's backyard, but it's got a couple trees, and it's just dirt. and
for real, it's terrible.
Yeah, and they
still bury people back there.
Really?
Really, truly.
Huh. Well, they shouldn't be burying nobody back. There's nobody. It's deserted.
I know. It's terrible.
Huh.
The city of Scranton, they got enough of money to let the city take that over and keep it cleaned off and whatever. But they I guess they wouldn't even put a penny in that.
Huh.
And Lindsey Graham is a senator there, and in South Carolina, and they don't do nothing for the blacks there. You know that.
Yeah.
They don't do nothing.
This is
It's a big old prejudiced town. It's all about the white people, not about black people. But I left South Carolina in, had to be 1968 I left there.
Right.
I was 21 years old.
And
I left. I have not been back, not to live to this day.
And you went to West Palm?
I wouldn't even want to lay down and dream about moving.
West Palm's better. So I'm curious that how How did they come up with these like the names? Did it because like you have you have a lot of biblical names, a lot of Jewish names. How did we get those names if we're Blackfoot and Black?
I don't know. We must have some Jews somewhere.
That's interesting.
Because most all our names is Jewish names.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like how did how did that happen?
I have no idea. And I can't think of how did I get my name Christine.
Oh,
But that's a Mexican name.
the Mexican names. That's what they were Mexican. Christine was a Mexican name at that time.
All the time. Christina is a Mexican name.
Okay.
But that's what my dad named me. Christina.
Is it with an H or with an R?
My name is Christine. Christine. Melanie is a Jewish name. But Christine is a Mexican name.
I wonder if.
I don't know if they just picked something up. Was white people naming the children back then, or I don't know. Because I always asked my father, I said, how did I wind up with a name, Christine? And he said, your name is not Christine, your name is Christina. And I say, whatever, Daddy.
Christina.
Christina. That's what he would call me. He never called me Christine. He always called me Christina.
And is it Christine on the birth certificate or is it Christina?
It's Christine. It's Tine.
Okay.
But he would always call me Christina. Because he said that's what he told them to put on there, but they put Christine. Christine, but it's supposed to be Christina. Christina.
Oh, that's right. Because at that time, you really have no power of what you put on birth certificates.
No.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, because Auntie's name is Alphagetti, and that definitely is not African American. I don't know how she got it.
Anna Maria Alphagetti.
Alphagetti.
And that was a name. Anna Maria was named after that movie star. Remember that movie star, Anna Maria Alphagetti?
No, I didn't know that. I looked it up.
It's a movie star name that she has.
Okay.
But I don't know where they got mine from. Probably just picked it out of a hat.
Or the hospital gave it to you. So it's okay. So, this is good. I'm gonna be. I found the cemetery. It's nothing. Now I just need to find. Well, he's not gonna have a headstone there because it's so long and this is all messed up. But I might be able to find.
A marking. There might not even be no markings back there.
No, I'm gonna try and find a death record and see who his father was and mother was, and then maybe that'll take me back to the, because if you were 40, he died when he was 66, and you said he died when you were 6, so that means 1952, right? Yeah. So if I go back from 1952 years, that means he was born in 1884 or something like that. So that was really right after slavery, because slavery was, that was completed in 1863. So just 20 years later, he had to have been born. So his father, more than likely, had. Well, then again, since he owned land, that doesn't mean that he was a slave at all, because it's kind of rare that he would own that much land in Florence, South Carolina, of all places. If you were a slave, you couldn't have been. You couldn't have been the descendants, because there's no way to get that much property.
See, because nobody to farm it. So I don't know if my mother gave it, sold it, or what she did with it. But I know we moved to Florida.
Okay.
But I was married. I got married when I was 16.
Okay. And he died in, what's this? Florence.
And me and Andrew had been married like 4 years before we had my son, Chris.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Aha, bingo.
You found it.
I think so. There's a Anna Davis, 1952, but she died before him or after him.
Before him.
There's a John Davis that died in Sumter, California, and I guess he was related to a Susan Maddie.
I don't even know them people.
But he died in 1952. His
Uncle John was married to Aunt Susan.
Wait, yeah, that's perfect. John Davis died in 1952. He was married to Maddie Davis, who was your mother, your great grandma. Well, in your case, yeah, your mother's mother, your great grandmother, Hattie Mae Davis, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, Hattie Mae. He was married to Maddie Davis, and he died in Sumter, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. And oh shoot, I got to pay for it. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to pay for it. I can get it though.
It's a lot of John Davis because my uncle was named John Davis too now.
Okay.
And he died. Ooh, he been dead about 20 years.
Well, this
Uncle
one.
John.
Well,
Uncle John. But he lived it in Sumter, South Carolina.
But you said he dead.
When he died, but he lived it in Florida. But when he died, he was staying in Sumter, South Carolina.
Okay.
And
But
he died in the 90s, by 91 or 92. Maybe 90.
okay. But and when Hattie Mae died?
That was my great grandmother.
Do you know when she died?
And good gracious. See, I remember them. So they had to die when I was like maybe 6, and 7 years old. Because I remember I used to go under her bed and get her candy because she had a little candy house.
Okay.
Thing that she would sell candy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go in there and get chewing gum. I steal grandma chewing gum. I got so many beaten by stealing her chewing gum. But anyway, my grandmother had to die when in the 40s. She had to maybe 52, 53, somewhere in there. Because I remember grandma.
And she died in Florence, South Carolina too?
Yeah, she died in Lake City, South Carolina. But they all say Florence County.
Florence County. Okay. All right, let me see if I can find her. Hattie.
Let me write these dates down instead of dates, because you finding stuff I don't know. Curtis, whenever you get through doing that,
Yeah.
you could email them to me, or either just make me a copy of they when they died and who they were kin to and stuff like. Because I want to know where my grandfather came from.
Yeah. There's a lot of Davises. There's Willie Mae Davis, Maddie Marks, Sumter, Joyce, Philip Sadi. I'm looking up the different name. Let me go Anna. Hattie Mae. I looked it up through Hattie. And it's May Davis. And Florence County, South Carolina. And female. Death location, Florence. Let's see what else comes up. If something comes up. 1958, 56, 1924, 1952.
That's the Lola coming in the house telling me she's home.
Okay.
I want
1953.
you to come, think I'm calling you baby. Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate you. I'm going to keep studying, trying to see what I can find.
Okay.
You have a good night.
Call in. There ain't no more about them than me.
I'll try.
Because she'll remember and Susie and Uncle Bud and what their real names was. Because I don't remember what Uncle Bud's real name was. But that's my grandfather's brother.
Right.
Uncle Bud and Uncle Harold.
Uncle Harold.
Somewhat. But I know my mother's side of the family, but I didn't know my daddy's side of the family because they didn't never associate it with my father because they always thought my dad had more than them and all this kind of stuff. And it was always a big old mess with Uncle Preacher and all of them. Because my dad had sisters too, sisters and brothers. But I don't think there's any of them living now. But they had sons, and we got cousins on my dad's side. But I don't even know who they are because we were never introduced to them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I pray that none of the family don't get all screwed up there and marry some of them crazy folks. I'm serious because on my dad's side, they didn't never want us at their house because they said my mom had a bunch of little rugrats. That's what they call us.
That's funny.
But we wasn't rugrats because we all had long, pretty hair, and my mom always kept us dressed nice. And my dad always we never went hungry. I'll put it that way. We always had plenty. Ask your mom. We never did it. We always had plenty because my daddy had a farm and he would sell stuff off the farm and make sure we had school clothes, shoes, everything we needed. When we went out the door, we were fully dressed.
Wow.
You could see that picture up there. You see my dad got on a suit and tie.
I have that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was
He was sharp.
outstanding.
Yeah, he
And
was sharp.
everybody loved him.
Yeah, he was sharp. I have that's the only picture I have of him. I have one picture.
Yeah, and that was every Sunday when he went to church. He had on his starch and iron and his suit. And we had on our starch and irons and our suits. And we had long hair down our backs. Sure did. And my mom was everybody in the neighborhood would come for my mom to press their hair and curl it or whatever they wanted done to their hair. My mom was a beautician.
Annie Davis is a beautician. Okay. I like it.
My mom was a beautician, and she was the best cook you ever want to see.
Really?
Yes, my mom could cook. And that's what she did. On the weekend, she fixed the hair. Through the weekdays, she worked it for Mr. What that man was named. But he was the mayor of South Carolina, mayor of Florence, South Carolina. And my mom worked it for him and his wife. She was like they maid or they cook or whatever.
Okay. Work for the mayor of South Carolina.
And that's what she did. That's what kind of work my mom did. And my dad worked it on the farm, but he also worked it in like selling items, food. He would raise like collards, corn, tomatoes, squash, okra, butter beans, and snap beans, and stuff like that. And he would sell it, take it to the market and sell it.
Wow.
And we had tobacco and corn and stuff like that together, take to the market.
Okay.
And tobacco, all of us know about picking cotton and tobacco and all that kind of crazy stuff.
But you were picking it on your own farm instead of picking it like for someone else, right?
Yeah, we had it on our own farm.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we had our own farm.
Okay.
My dad, I would say he was a businessman. Because you see, your Uncle Bobby is a businessman.
Right. See?
And I had my own beautician shop, and I worked it as I was a beautician. I had my own shop here at the house. And I also worked it at Arbor Acre as a dietitian.
Okay.
And your mom is a nurse. Your Aunt Hattie, she was in the nursing field. And I'm talking to Curtis. That's Chris.
Oh, tell him I said hey.
I will.
Okay.
Chris, Curtis, say hello. He said hey.
Wow, this is very interesting. Okay, I'm still looking.
But it's and Ann had her own beautician shop.
Yep, I remember that.
And she had her own beauty shop. And who else? Somebody else in the family. Everybody have had their own businesses and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to ask you something about me now, because I'm going to conclude it. Business-minded family from South Carolina. But we ended up in Florida, West Palm Beach. Okay. Now for me, when I was born and I was down in West Palm Beach. What about me? What was I like growing up? Because I don't know.
You was a bad little boy.
Was I? Bad little boy. Okay.
You always liked to play in the mud and get dirty, but your mama did not like you getting dirty at all.
I like to play in the mud. What else?
You like to be you and Chris now. And we go to the beach all the time. On the weekends or through the week, soon as I get off from work, we'd be headed to the beach. Either we were going to the movie or we'd go to Lion Country Safari. You always loved the animals and liked to put your feet in the water. And now you like an alligator because you love the water.
I do. I do. I don't.
You do.
That makes sense though.
You do.
Yeah.
You always have loved the water. You love the water.
Okay.
And I have to look at Curtis, come here. You be out there in the water with your feet and steady going. And I had to get you.
Oh, okay. So I was a bad.
But you was always a sweet child. You always was. Very memorable.
Memorable. Okay.
That's what I remember about you growing up.
Okay. So I like to be outside a lot.
Yeah, you did. You did then too. And you and Chris would always get in trouble because y'all loved. Do you remember y'all used to climb up in the orange trees?
I remember climbing a tree. I thought it was a coconut tree.
Yep, in Florida, and because I had my own home when we lived in Riviera Beach.
Riviera Beach, okay. No.
I always liked it, my own home. I can't rent.
Right.
No way I could rent.
Riviera Beach, Florida. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know I was always out in the water. That makes sense now, though. That makes sense. So me and Bunky used to always get in trouble.
Yeah, y'all would always get in trouble. y'all.
Okay.
Because y'all couldn't stop climbing up in the coconut tree. And the orange tree was back there, and it was a, what they call them things, them big old orange things. What they call them? They're fruit. Oh, mango.
That, and I love mangoes to this day.
Yeah, and well, what else I had back there? Mango tree, and I had a grapefruit tree that was back there too, and the little tansy oranges. I had a heap of fruit trees in the yard. But y'all like to climb, but they wasn't that tall. But y'all would climb up in them every day. Do you remember Susie and Danky, the dogs we had?
No, I don't remember that.
I don't remember the dogs?
No, I didn't remember any of that. I just saw, I could see like visions, like climbing trees for coconuts, but I didn't know anything. I don't really remember anything before like I was like 9 or 10. I don't have any memory.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember any.
But you remember staying with me though, right?
Yeah, I remember staying with you, and I remember climbing trees and getting coconuts. But like, I just remember being on a plane with some stewardesses taking care of me. That I used to always fly Delta. But other than that, I have no memory of when I was young. No.
Oh, okay.
No. But I could sense it, but I can't like, you try to see like what you were doing and where you were at. I just know that I lived in Miami and liked to be climbing coconut trees, and I was on airplanes, and I had a little suit.
We lived in Riviera Beach, Florida.
Yeah, and I remember being in like a little suit, having a little boy suit on and stuff like that. But I can't see anything else. Like, I don't remember going to school or anything like that. I don't remember any.
Do you remember Anthony that stayed across the street in Miss Bell?
Nope.
Shirley and Thelma now?
Oh, no.
Do you remember them?
No. Did I used to play with them or something?
No, they were big girls. We used to go out together and stuff, and we used to sit in the kitchen and play spade and stuff like that. About every day we would do that when we got off from work. Play spade.
Oh. Okay.
And y'all would get in trouble when Hollis come home. Y'all be up in the tree. I said, "Oh, they gonna get it. They gonna get it now." I'll be done hollering till my throat dry.
Oh my goodness.
Don't get in the tree. Please don't get in the tree.
That's funny.
Because they were snakes up in them trees.
Really?
So they would go up in there and eat the fruit.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That's why y'all would get your little butts tore up, because y'all wasn't hard-headed, wasn't it? And I was scared you were going to get bite by a snake or something out there.
Ah, see, that makes sense then. Yeah, we were bad.
Yeah, y'all were. You and Chris, ooh, Lord, and that little Anthony, and the boys, them scooter boys stayed back there on the back street. I didn't mind you playing outside, but I was scared you would get on the snake.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
It was dangerous because Hollis was, every time he cut the yard just about, he would kill a snake.
Really?
That yard was full of snakes.
I wonder why there's so many snakes there.
Because, I don't know. But everybody had snakes because Florida's full of snakes. You know, the Everglades full of snakes.
Yeah. Oh, and so
everybody in that area had snakes in their yard. I don't know why, but we did. We had plenty of snakes.
Huh. Is Rivera?
I tried to keep y'all inside most of the time, because I definitely was scared y'all were gonna get up on a snake out there.
Is Riviera? Is that Riviera Beach, Florida?
Yes.
That's a nice area.
It is. We stayed out there in the rich neighborhood.
Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Riviera Beach, Florida. It's really nice. Yeah, I can see all the trees too. Now I see what you're talking about. Now, Riviera is closer to West Palm or Miami? Which one?
I think it's about 5 miles from it's a good 5 miles from West Palm Beach to Riviera.
Okay.
that. Chris stay in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, I love West Palm.
Eddie stay in West Palm Beach.
Right. Okay, yeah, it's not that far. It's like 5 miles.
Yeah. Because Tavares, Polly and Tavares stayed in West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try and see if I can find these death certificates. It might not be on. I know that I saw his, and I saw that is in Florence, but I can't find hers yet. But
Who you couldn't find?
great grandmother. I can't find Hattie Mae Davis.
My mom.
No, Anna Davis died in West Palm.
Yeah, my mom died in West Palm.
But Hattie Mae, your grandmother died in South Carolina.
Right. She died in I think that's Granite, South Carolina, but it's all Florence County. So the death certificate would have had to come from Florence, or either Columbia or South Carolina.
Okay. Columbia. You said Granite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Granite, Florence, South Carolina. All right. Okay. That's interesting. All right, so yeah, I found the gravesite already, so I got the picture of that, and I'm still gonna try and figure out. It'd be nice to figure his father, because that was right after the American Revolution when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
John Davis, and he owned a farm. And then, so when he died, he left his farm to his daughter, not because Grandma married Jimmy Lee.
He left his farm to his daughter. Which one of his daughters?
Well, it had to be because your mom and Jimmy Lee lived on the farm, right?
Yeah.
But the farm was originally your grandfather's.
Oh. So he left it to my mom.
He would have had to have, unless everybody just kept living there. So when your mom and dad were married, they were already living on the farm, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, no. My mom was living with her dad, and my dad lived it in Sumter, South Carolina, but I don't know if he lived it on the farm or where he lived it then.
Oh, so yeah.
I don't know where my dad was living.
Yeah, so.
I know it was in Sumter, but I don't know if it was on the farm or what was it.
Jimmy Spates.
Because my dad always, every time I saw him, every time when we were little kids growing up, my dad always wore suits all the time and shirts. So I don't know what kind of work. I don't know what my dad did, really. If he had a business downtown or what. Because he was always always wore ties and white shirts. So I don't know. But I know we had a farm, and I know we had tobacco and corn and cotton and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I know that he had a vegetable garden, because he would always have vegetables to take to town to sell and stuff. We had to gather that stuff when we went to school in the morning.
Okay. And the Blackfoot Indians, right? We never met in.
Outside of the state, well, the place. I know it's Sumter, and it's about 3 little towns up in there. Sumter, South Carolina, then it's another one, and then you're going on down, and you're in Charleston, South Carolina, and then Georgia, Alabama, and all up in there.
Okay.
Tuskegee and all of that. So.
Blackfoot Indians, Sumter.
This spot as well. It's
Oh, they look just like him.
Who?
Like Jimmy.
Like my dad?
Yep. They look just like him. Like he looks just like him.
Me?
He looks just like a Blackfoot Indian.
Oh,
I
my
have a
dad.
pic. Yeah, I have a picture of him. So they're dark, and they got high cheekbones and slim faces, like flat noses. He looks just like him. That's interesting.
Yeah, my dad was kin to him.
Hmm. Maybe
But
that's
he was smart. Ooh, my dad was smart.
maybe that's where he was taking all that stuff to the reservation.
I don't know. But I know my dad liked it to sleep out in the woods a lot because, oh, my God, we were always outside. And I know even how to build a tent. I've been out there so much in the woods with my dad. Like every weekend we was camping. We go camping.
Hmm. Yeah, he looks just.
I remember this time my dad was going fishing. And I went fishing, was going to go with him. And he told me, don't follow him. And I followed him anyway with my little old cane I done made out of that bamboo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Made my own little cane and put my hook and line on it. But if I didn't have long hair,
Right.
when that log I rolled over under the water on the log, where my dad said, don't follow him, he said, Tisha, cause they call me Tisha, don't come across here, cause that log ain't stable. You might fall. Not for me to do my hard head, but follow him. And if he wasn't paying attention to me coming over there where he was, I would have got drowned, cause I didn't know how to swim then.
Oh.
That log carried me right on under. And he grabbed me by my hair and pulled me out of there.
And they called you Tisha? Is that an Indian name?
It is.
Tisha.
That's a nickname. They call me Tisha.
Who, the Indians or him?
My dad called me that.
Okay.
Uncle Nutt still call me Tisha.
Huh. Blackfoot. You see what that means? I don't know what it means, but oh, it is a word.
What?
Blackfoot. Let me see if I can find it. I see it popped up. That's interesting. I'm just trying to find it. I might not be spelling it right. No, I don't think I'm spelling it right. That's pretty cool. Oh. Well, he looks just like him, though, that's for sure.
My dad had pretty hair.
Yeah.
But our hair is, he didn't have black nor brown hair. He had a sandy color hair. Old, dirty looking color.
Huh.
You see how Michelle, your sister hair is?
Yeah.
It ain't brown, but it looked like old dirty brown or something.
Yeah.
All the time, it don't never look like it's clean. Well, that's how my daddy hair was, and just as curly, like your brother, like your nephew Sean.
Yeah.
Sean
Yeah.
got hair just like my daddy.
Okay.
Got pretty curly hair. Sean hair was really pretty and curly when he was a little boy.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I remember that I do know.
Hair just, see, if you look at my daddy hair on that picture you see is curly looking. It ain't straight like that. And Bobby hair is like that. And Hattie hair, had your Aunt Hattie, if she just shampoo her hair and leave it, her hair just curl up in a knot, just curl, just as pretty as it can be. And Joanne got the blackness of Daddy hair. Your Uncle Bobby. And Bobby hair looked so rough looking on top of his head, and he could just comb right through it.
Huh.
But all of us had real pretty hair, pretty long black hair when we was growing up. Or that old sandy, dirty looking hair like Daddy.
Okay.
Like Bronx hair, I would call it. It's a dirty looking color hair. I don't like it.
Well, Blackfoot. Okay. I'm.
Alrighty.
All right.
But call your Aunt Ann, because she know more about this stuff than me.
I'm gonna do some more research and see if I can find some of this other stuff first.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Auntie. I really
And
appreciate
your
it.
Uncle Bobby might can enlighten you on some stuff too, because he lived it in South Carolina until he moved here. But I moved away when I was younger.
I'll try and talk to him tomorrow then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, love you, Auntie. Talk to you later.
I love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So in the beginning, stunningly, I was stunned to realize that I did not have the camera on. I was still just doing the audio, but then I switched to camera. So there are some things that I found out about myself, obviously, at the end, realizing my great love for being out on the ocean now. So it comes from being young, and I was a little robber of mangoes and coconuts. So that was interesting to find out. And then I was able to locate Jimmy Lee that did die when she said that he died in the place that he died with the name of his spouse, of his wife. Haven't located the time of death for my great-great-grandmother, but looked up the Blackfoot Indian pictures, and I have a picture of my great-great-grandfather. My grandfather? My mom's, my great-grandfather, and trying to locate some of that back to his father, which would be a connection all the way back to before 1850, which was during the Civil War times. But the assumption right now is, knowing how history flowed, if you were a black person and you were released from slavery during the period of the 1863, Emancipation Proclamation, you were generally without any property, without any means of providing for yourself, and you didn't have monies, and you didn't have land, obviously, clothes or job skills, still suffering from language deprivation. So for my great-grandfather to be a possessor of his own land and to be my grandmother to work for the mayor of South Carolina, and this is South Carolina, which was during this period of time, period of history in the 1800s, in the early 1900s, going all the way down to 1960s, 1970s, there was the slave codes that were still active in the South. Let's not, kid ourselves about the social dynamics that were going on at that time. So for him to own his own property, and of all places, Sumter, South Carolina, which is a Civil War historic landmark, and which is one of the racist places in America at that time. But he owned his own property, owned his own products, and was a businessman. Raised agriculture, worked his own farm, and my aunts, as well as my mom, picked cotton, their own cotton, and sold it at market. For that to happen within a span of 100 years, and then for that property, she says she doesn't exactly know the extent of that property after they left South Carolina, because she moved to West Palm Beach. My mom moved to West Palm Beach. In fact, all of them um, went to Florida for whatever the case may be. Drought, I don't know. Um, I guess I could glean some more information from my uncle. Nevertheless, so this was an interesting conversation. This is actually the first time I've ever had this conversation with anyone in my family. I do have a photograph of my grandfather, and I look at the facial features of the Blackfoot Indian tribes during that period, and they clearly resemble each other. The high cheekbones, which I guess you could say that I could see a little bit of me, very dark, suntanned, slim figures, the athletic, well, we would say athletic now, but traditional Indian figure, which is a result of a lot of factors. The Indians were deprived of food, medication. They were not used to the quote unquote diseases and have the natural immunities of the people that came from other places. And we know that there was intermarriage between Indians and slaves, as well as other ethnic groups as well. But in particular in the South, in Florida State, like we say Florida State, let's say the Seminoles, Blackfeet, Cherokee, this was a known custom that because they shared a certain dynamic and relationship as being disadvantaged and marginalized in society. But it appears that we all started the start of this is Florence, South Carolina, so that's good. And I was able, like I said, I was able to locate Jimmy Lee Spates and his wife and his date of birth. I was able to locate Bill Lee Cemetery where he was buried and that picture. So I guess I can just deal with some of the migration statistics or migration story. And my side of the family, the Walkers, which are covered through a PowerPoint. And we'll see what else I can glean. It's going to be difficult, obviously, because it's apparent that my family did not keep records well. And most of it will be going by verbal knowledge. From my understanding, from what I was told from my other aunts, whereas that my Aunt Christine, had the best handle on the family history. I've seen people at what do you call family events and stuff, but it's generally the people that are in my age group in my event. So I guess this is something that has enlightened me that will help. At some point, I'll do an in-depth study and try and figure it all out. But for now, this is the story of where I came from, and apparently with the Jewish names, and which we can't really figure out why there are some Jewish names in my family. So she's definitely a Melanie, which is definitely Jewish, and Spanish, Christina. Don't know why that is, but maybe that could be the reason that I take to Spanish or foreign languages easily. I don't know that. Maybe it's some things are hereditary. I don't know. But it's an interesting interview. As we're running over an hour now, and I don't know if I want to do another interview. And thankfully, I was able to get my aunt, somebody, after all this time. But my family works on Spates family time, which means they're going to do it when they're going to do it. And I have no control of that. And if you understand family dynamics, you understand that, sometimes that's just the way it is. So it is what it is. So that's all I got for right now. Thank you for listening. And this is Family History Project. And that was the interview with my aunt, Christine Spates Green Burgess. And I didn't put that up on the screen now. All right. Bye-bye.